After finishing the main career mode, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 and 4 is a tale of two halves. One is a brilliant remake of one of the most definitive titles of the 6th generation of gaming. The other half is a stripped down reimagining of the game which gave us free roaming and a different goal structure. Some features will click, while others might feel jarring, and I'll touch on those throughout the video. My name's OneHip, and thanks for being here with me today. For this video, I played the PC Game Pass version through the Xbox app. I was going to wait until later in the week when the game would be released to everyone, but I caved and bought the deluxe upgrade so I could play it early and give you this review as soon as possible. Anyway, here's my Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 and 4 review. Let's go! The game was developed by Iron Galaxy and published by Activision Blizzard. The studio had a shorter than usual time frame to put this all together, and to be honest, they should be commended for what they pulled off. Originally, Activision had plans to follow up on the success of Pro Skater 1 and 2, but after Vicarious Visions merged into Blizzard, the torch was passed to Iron Galaxy. What we end up getting is this. A mostly fun game, but with some things missing that may upset fans of the series, including 4's structure like I mentioned before, and a soundtrack with only a handful of the original songs. If you're going into this expecting a straight remake of both games, especially 4, you'll be disappointed. A lot has been changed. Some levels have new layouts and visuals, and the structure leans more traditional. But if you are open to a remix of the past, there's still a lot to enjoy here. The core gameplay is still the same buttery smooth skating you expect from the series. Flip tricks, grabs, grinds, manuals, reverts, lip tricks, flatland tricks are all here of course. And if it's your first time playing, or if you need a refresher, there's a nice optional tutorial to brush up on your skills. You even earn in-game items if you complete it. The visuals are sharp, the animations are smooth, and despite a few frame rate hiccups, the game runs really well. The main menu has a bit of a free-to-play aesthetic, which feels slightly off-brand. There's no battle pass or other microtransactions besides the deluxe edition items as far as I know, but the store presentation did remind me of those kind of games. Still, it's purely cosmetic, and I have ruffled enough feathers over the last week or so about my takes on modern gaming, so I'll leave this topic here. You unlock content using skater bucks, which are earned by completing challenges and finding cash in levels. You can use this currency to buy new boards, apparel, and not so secret unlockables. Just by creating my skater, I earned enough bucks to unlock Bam Margera from the not so secret shop. Pro Skater Andy Anderson and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle Michelangelo can also be unlocked from the store, as well as their signature tricks. You can also unlock visual mods like screen filters, special effects, and gear styles. You won't spend too long getting enough cash to get them. I managed to have enough money to buy both of the other skaters after about 30 minutes. In the levels themselves, you can find cash to use in the store, like I mentioned before, as well as hidden decks and Iron Galaxy logos in hard to reach places, much like Vicarious Vision logos in the previous game. And yes, there is a photo mode. Once you complete all of the goals for each tour, you unlock more stuff like pro goals, which I unlocked but I haven't tried yet. I'm looking forward to giving these a go. You can play career, free skate, single session, speedrun, and multiplayer. Although I didn't get to test the online component of the latter, since it required logging in with an Activision account, which I haven't set up yet. I don't remember this being a thing in 1 and 2, but please let me know if I'm wrong about this. I might revisit this mode in a future video if there is interest. There's a huge roster of returning skaters from 1 and 2, as well as older franchises, and new skaters, including fellow Aussie Chloe Covell from the lovely northern New South Wales town of Tweed Heads. You can also unlock Doomslayer and the Revenant with the Deluxe Edition, and of course, you can create up to 4 skaters, with deep customization and plenty of unlockables in the store. Most of the levels from 3 and 4 return here, but there are a few notable omissions, such as Chicago and Carnival. To make up for this, there are 3 all-new levels: Water Park, Pinball, and Movie Studio, which are all part of the 4 tour. Water Park and Pinball are standouts, and Movie Studio, the newest competition level, was okay, but it didn't wow me like the other 2. However, I will be spending more time on the new levels. I may discover things I didn't find in my first run. The modernised levels all look fantastic, and they're very visually pleasing to the eye. If you are a long-time fan of the franchise, you'll be very happy with the modern visual style of these memorable areas that you grew up with. Some returning levels have been reimagined through the vision of Iron Galaxy. For example, London is now set at night, and Stompy the elephant is not who you may think it is. Grabbing the coppers' hats this time has a neat twist which put a smile on my face when I saw it. Zoo is a competition level now that's abandoned with no animals. Kona is also a competition level. Suburbia has a Halloween theme in place of its campy, supernatural feel in the original game. In Skater Island, there's a secret area that was revealed in a previous trailer. On Cruise Ship, you're impressing pros now instead of Neversoft girls. Los Angeles replaces the criminal being chased by police with an out-of-control automated taxi. A more sanitized touch, and many goals from 3 are intact, but some have also changed. For example, in Airport, you no longer crooked grind around the baggage claim. You airwalk over one of the escalators nearby. In Suburbia, instead of a heel flip over the trailer hop, you do a nose grab between ramps. As for 4's goals, I was nervous going in due to the larger free roaming spaces compared to 3 and the way goals were delivered in the original. Many others online have shared similar opinions about this, but I am happy to report that the goals available here are quite doable even with the default 2-minute limit. And despite the lack of NPCs who give you goals, many of them are integrated into the full goal list. For example, in San Francisco, manualing the walkway, which was originally given by Eric Costin in the original game, is something you can pull off during the 2-minute window. And other goals like skate and collecting 5 or so of an item are achievable. They are appropriately placed so you don't feel stretched trying to do it all in one go. I commend Iron Galaxy for nailing this, but this still may not be enough for some fans who've outright refused to play it because of this. But at least we have the original games to go back to. That said about the time limit, if you are feeling stretched for time or just want to explore a bit more, you can extend the timer for up to 60 minutes. While I spent most of my time with 2-minute limits, I used this, what the game calls a game mod, a few times just to muck around without hopping into free skate. And I really appreciate that the time limit is more accessible for newcomers and those whose brain sharpness may not be what it used to. I am getting there though as I get older, so this may come in handy for me if I'm still playing this game later on in my life. Creator Park is very robust, and you can even add your own goals and other assets like NPCs. I played around with a little bit of it, but I'll devote some more time to creating a hopefully cool park. If you're enjoying this review, thanks for still being here. I've got retrospectives on earlier Tony Hawk games, plus videos on other skating and non-skating franchises. If you're enjoying this one, give the video a like and subscribe to the channel. It really helps others discover the video. Anyway, let's talk about the soundtrack. This is probably the most controversial part of the game for longtime fans, even more so than 4's new structure. While some classics like Not the Same by Body Jar and Ace of Spades by Motorhead return, others are sadly MIA. Most notably, TNT by AC/DC, the iconic opening track of 4. I know licensing is a thing, and you can use Spotify or your own playlist to recapture the old school vibe, but I wish more effort was made to secure as many of the original songs as possible. Only a small handful of the original ones made it in. Even Alien Ant Farm, whose track Wish was in 3, said that they were bummed about never being contacted to see if they're happy to have it in the game in an interview they did recently. That is indeed kind of a bummer. That said, the newer music selections aren't bad. Tracks from Turnstile and Urethane are strong additions, and there are some deep cuts like Kick Push by Lupe Fiasco, which finally gets to shine outside of Tony Hawk's Downhill Jam. It even plays in the main menu when you first boot up the game, just like it did in the demo. If you have the deluxe edition of the game, some songs from the Dune soundtrack also play, which is really cool. So how does Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 and 4 hold up? It's not a perfect recreation of the past, but I found that it doesn't really need to be. The 3 Tour is a wonderful remake with upgraded visuals and a very familiar goal system. 4 is a reimagining which tries a few new things, but it might still not land with some fans. Some of the elements of the game work, some of them don't. But the core gameplay is solid, the level design is generally fun, 2 out of the 3 new levels are terrific, and the Creator Park is probably the best it's ever been. I would recommend it for Pro Skater veterans and newcomers who wish to dip their toe into this very special franchise with modern visuals and accessibility options. Thanks so much for watching. Have you played Tony Hawk's 3 and 4 yet? What do you think about the game? Do you agree or disagree with anything I said? If you're still on the fence about the 4 levels, did this video convince you to give it a try? Let me know in the comments. If you want to support the channel, consider liking, subscribing, or checking out my retrospectives on Burnout, Tony Hawk, and EA Skate. There's also channel memberships and a Ko-fi page if you want to support the channel even further, but just your time here is very much appreciated. My name is OneHip, and you have a good one. Bye!